Hey there, it's Brandon, and today I'll be your navigator as you explore the topic of compassion. Today's Bible story may be familiar to you. It's the parable of the Good Samaritan. Here's the 60-second version. A man is traveling down a road that leads from Jerusalem to Jericho. It's one of the most dangerous roads in the area. Still, this man is walking down the road, and sure enough, he's beaten, robbed, and left there to die. Fortunately, 3 people also come down the road after him. 2 of the people are religious officials, a priest and a Levite. We'll just call them a pastor and a worship leader. They're coming down the road, and when they see the man lying there, they move to the other side of the road and they continue. Then a 3rd person comes down the road, the Samaritan, the one that the parable is about, presumably, and he sees the man lying there. He picks the man up, puts the man on his donkey, and then takes him to an inn where he can get well. The Samaritan tells the innkeeper, "Put the entire thing on my tab. Let him stay here as long as he needs to get well." So typically, when we tell this story, we focus a lot on the 3rd man. I mean, it is called the parable of the Good Samaritan, right? But today, I want to invite you to consider a different set of questions as we continue to explore the topic of compassion. My first question is, why in the world was the road so dangerous? It seems pretty logical. If there's crime, if there's robbery, if people are getting beaten, if people are getting killed, do something about it. Another question is, why did the priest and the Levite, or the pastor and the worship leader, pass along the other side of the road? A little Bible research will reveal they had to be clean. There were religious laws in place that mandated that they not touch someone who was in the man's condition. Still, the question is, why were those laws there in the first place? Why wouldn't a pastor or a worship leader be freed to help someone in need? Sometimes when I read a familiar Bible story, I go straight to it and I breeze through it. I read it before, I get the message, be like the Good Samaritan, not like the pastor or the worship leader. But let's resist that temptation today. Let's approach the text with fresh eyes. The reality is, we can read scripture over and over again. And when we read it with fresh eyes each time, God can speak to us in new ways. Here are some questions for you to consider. Which of these characters do you identify with the most? Who do you think were the people robbing folks on the Jericho road? Who was their neighbor? What types of Jericho roads exist in our world today? All right, you know what time it is. Let's dive in and explore this a little more.